A trading bot can compile with 0 errors and still do something completely ridiculous. It can open twice on the same signal, read the current candle before it closes, calculate the stop loss with the wrong point value, or quietly trade a different rule from the one you described. So I'm not going to ask ChatGPT for a profitable MetaTrader 5 bot and trust whatever appears. I'm going to build one in stages and make every stage prove something before we move on. The strategy will be intentionally simple, a fast exponential moving average crossing a slow exponential moving average. When the fast average crosses above the slow one, the bot can buy. When it crosses below, the bot can sell. Simple logic is useful here because it exposes the real challenge.
Writing the entry idea takes 1 sentence.
Defining exactly how the bot should behave takes much longer. Step 1 is turning the idea into rules that code cannot misunderstand. I tell ChatGPT that this is an expert advisor for MetaTrader 5 written in MQL5. It must evaluate signals only when a new bar opens, and it must use the 2 most recently closed candles to confirm a crossover. That detail matters. If the bot uses the candle that is still forming, the averages can cross, uncross, and cross again before the candle closes. A clean signal on the screen can become several different signals inside the code. Next, I define the trade behavior. 1 open position at a time for this symbol and this magic number. No adding to a position. No immediate reversal unless the existing position has been closed. Fixed lot size for this first version. User-defined stop loss, take profit, maximum spread, and slippage settings. I also specify what should happen when trading is not allowed. Do nothing, record a useful message in the journal, and wait for the next valid event. Notice what I have not asked for. I have not asked ChatGPT to invent the strategy, choose the risk, optimize the settings, and write the production code in one shot. That prompt would hide too many decisions inside one answer. Instead, I first ask it to rewrite my description as a numbered specification without writing any code. Now I can inspect the logic in plain English. Which moving average method is being used? Which price is applied? What happens if there is already a position? Are signals checked on every tick or once per bar? Is the crossover based on closed candles? If any answer is vague, I fix the specification now. This is much cheaper than debugging a vague idea after it has become 300 lines of code. Step 2. Build the smallest version that can compile. I ask ChatGPT to create the expert advisor using the standard MQL5 trade library. I ask for separate functions for new bar detection, signal calculation, position checking, order validation, and order execution. Not because a bot needs fancy architecture, but because isolated functions are easier to inspect when something goes wrong. I also ask it to check indicator handles during initialization, release those handles when the expert advisor is removed, validate copied buffer data before using it, normalize prices to the symbol digits, and print the trade result code when an order fails. Those details are not exciting. They are the difference between nothing happened and a journal message that tells you where to look. When the code appears, I do not ask ChatGPT whether it is correct. I copy it into MetaEditor, save it as a new expert advisor, and compile it there. MetaEditor is the judge of MQL5 syntax, not ChatGPT. If the compiler returns errors, I copy the complete error list, including the line numbers, back into the same conversation. I tell ChatGPT to explain the cause briefly, return the full corrected file, and avoid changing the agreed trading rules. That last instruction is important. An AI can fix one compiler problem while casually rewriting another section that was already working. So after every revision, I compare the new version with the previous one. The repair should be narrow. The strategy should stay unchanged. Eventually, we want 0 errors and 0 warnings, but that is only the end of the syntax test. It is not evidence that the bot trades correctly. Step 3 is where most AI-built bot demonstrations stop too early. The logic audit. I give ChatGPT its own code and ask it to attack the implementation. Can the same crossover be processed more than once? Can a manual trade be mistaken for the bot's position? Does the position check filter by both symbol and magic number? Does its position logic behave correctly on the account type being tested? Are buy and sell prices taken from the correct side of the market? Can the stop distance violate the broker's minimum level? What happens when the indicator buffer has not loaded enough data? Then I ask it to trace 4 specific situations, line by line: no crossover, a valid bullish crossover, a valid bearish crossover while a buy position already exists, and a spread above the allowed maximum. This forces the code to explain its path instead of merely describing its intention. The most dangerous bugs are often valid code. The compiler will not complain if the crossover is reversed. It will not warn you that the bot is reading candle 0. It will not tell you that a value labeled pips is actually being treated as points. The program can be perfectly legal and completely wrong. Step 4 is the first controlled test inside MetaTrader 5. I open the strategy tester, select the expert advisor, choose one symbol and one time frame, and use a visual test over a short period first. The goal is not profit. I want to watch the bot behave. At every moving average crossover, does it act once? Does the entry appear after the confirming candle has closed? Are the stop loss and take profit on the correct side of the order? Does it ignore new signals while its own position is open? Does the journal match what is happening on the chart? If a trade looks wrong, I pause at that candle and record the time, symbol, signal values, expected action, and actual action. That becomes a precise debugging prompt. The bot is broken gives ChatGPT almost nothing. At this candle, the fast average moved from below the slow average to above it on consecutive closed bars, and the bot placed 2 orders gives it a reproducible case. Once the short visual test behaves correctly, I expand the test period. Now I look for operational problems: rejected orders, unrealistic stop distances, repeated messages, missing data, unusual behavior around spread changes, and differences between symbols with different digits or tick sizes. Only after those checks would I examine performance, and even then, a profitable backtest would not prove the strategy is robust. Changing the fast period from 10 to 11 and seeing the results collapse tells you more than one beautiful equity curve. Testing another market regime tells you more than optimizing hundreds of combinations until history looks perfect. And there is one boundary I would not skip. The first live environment should be a demo account with a small fixed lot and the journal visible. A backtest cannot reproduce every broker condition, execution delay, spread spike, or data difference. The demo stage is where the bot proves that it can survive contact with the platform it will actually use. So, what did ChatGPT really contribute here? It accelerated the translation from a written specification into code. It helped interpret compiler feedback. It provided a second pass for logic review. And it made revisions much faster than writing every function from a blank file. But it did not decide what the strategy meant. It did not validate the code inside MetaEditor. It did not inspect the visual backtest for us. And it did not turn a moving average crossover into an edge simply by automating it. That is the useful version of AI-assisted trading development. You remain responsible for the rules. MetaTrader 5 verifies the implementation. Testing exposes the behavior. ChatGPT helps you move between those stages faster. If you are building your own Forex expert advisors and want more practical workflows for testing and improving them, you can join the community through the link in the description. The code is the easy part. Making sure the code does exactly what you meant is the real build.